There comes a moment in life when even the strongest soul breaks down quietly. You hold yourself together for so long, smiling through pain, working through exhaustion, showing up for others even when your own heart feels tired. But deep inside, you start to whisper, "I can't do this anymore." You look at your life, the bills piling up, the relationships that feel distant, the dreams that seem stuck, and you ask yourself, how did I get here? You don't remember exactly when things started to feel heavy. Maybe it was slow, maybe it all happened at once, but now nothing feels steady. You feel like you're trying to build a future on sand. Your bank account is nearly empty. Your energy is running low. You try to stay positive, but even hope feels far away. You wonder, is something wrong with me? Did I miss my chance? Why isn't anything working? And yet, right in that moment of feeling lost, when the noise of the world fades, you feel something quiet, something soft, a presence, a voice, not from this world, but from the one who made you. And the whisper comes through the silence, "Stop worrying. I'm funding your life from now on. Not tomorrow, not when everything is perfect. Right now." You don't have to force anything anymore. You don't have to beg for support. You don't have to chase after people, opportunities, or answers. Because this is the moment heaven steps in, not to guess what you need, but to deliver what was always meant for you. This isn't a prediction, this is a divine confirmation. You didn't find this video by mistake, your soul was led here. Because the truth is, you've been praying without even realizing it. Every worry, every tear, every silent night, all of it was a prayer. And now the answer is here. Heaven is responding. God is speaking, not with thunder or lightning, but with calm, with clarity, with peace. And if this message is touching your heart, if you feel something rising inside you, even if you don't fully understand it, then type in the comments right now, "I receive divine funding." Say it. Let it be known. Let the universe carry your words to the highest places. Let heaven hear that your heart is open. Because this isn't just about money, this is about being supported in every way. Emotionally, spiritually, mentally, energetically. This is about no longer walking alone, no longer carrying burdens that aren't yours, no longer feeling like you have to fight for every piece of peace. You are about to experience what it feels like when God steps in and says, "Let me take care of it from here." So don't click away. Stay with me until the end of this video, because by the time we finish, you'll feel something you haven't felt in a long time. You'll feel safe again, you'll feel seen, you'll feel held, and most of all, you'll feel the truth. You've already won. When you ran out, God was just getting started. There was a time you felt full, Libra, full of ideas, full of hope. You had so many dreams in your heart, and for a while it felt like everything was possible. You believed in the people around you. You gave them your energy, your love, your loyalty. You planned ahead. You made sacrifices. You thought to yourself, if I stay strong, if I stay faithful, something good will come. But somewhere along the way, life took a turn you didn't see coming. And suddenly, things didn't feel so full anymore. They started to feel empty. The friends you supported disappeared. The plans you were so excited about hit a wall. The job, the love, the opportunity you thought was certain either slipped away or never came at all. And you were left standing in a space that once felt full of life, now feeling quiet, lonely, and dry. You looked at your hands and wondered, what do I even have left? You looked at your calendar and thought, why hasn't anything worked? It felt like you did everything you were supposed to do. You stayed kind, you showed up, you waited, but still, the doors didn't open. Still, the support didn't come. Still, the answers were silent. But I want to tell you something right now, something sacred, something that your soul needs to hear in this moment. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. God hasn't forgotten you, He hasn't ignored your efforts, He hasn't overlooked your pain. Instead, He's been watching closely, quietly, gently, intentionally. Because before God pours blessings into your life, He first makes sure there's enough space to hold them. And sometimes the only way to create that space is to let what was never meant for you fall away. That's why it feels like you've been emptied. Not because you're being punished, but because something greater is being prepared. You thought the silence meant failure, but really, it was God making room. Room in your schedule, room in your heart, room in your spirit, because the blessings He's about to pour into your life, They are too big for a crowded soul, too sacred for a life filled with distractions, too divine to be poured into broken containers. You've been holding on to things that were never built to hold you. People who didn't know how to love you, plans that were too small for your purpose, systems that weren't strong enough to carry your destiny. And now, God is stepping in. He's saying, "You've come to the end of your strength, now let me show you mine. You've poured out everything you had, now let me fill you with what I've been saving for you." Yes, it hurts to feel empty. Yes, it's hard to lose what you thought you needed. But in this quiet place, something powerful is happening. Heaven is preparing a new beginning, a better beginning, not built on fear, not built on survival, but built on divine support, built on something that won't fall apart. You're not starting from scratch, you're starting from purpose. And God is saying, this time, I'm funding it myself. So breathe. You are not being abandoned, you are being aligned. You ran out so God could step in. You let go so He could take over. And now, dear Libra, you are finally in the right place. The place where miracles begin. God's funding doesn't look like the world's. When most people hear the word funding, they think of one thing: money. They think of someone stepping in to hand them a check, paying off their debt, or giving them a financial breakthrough. And yes, sometimes it happens like that. But when it comes to God's funding, it often looks very different. It's not always money. It's not always loud. It's not always what you expected. Because the way God funds your life is spiritual first. It reaches into the deepest parts of your life, not just your wallet. Sometimes His funding doesn't come through a bank account. It comes through a perfect moment that you couldn't have created yourself. You know that situation where everything seemed delayed, nothing was working, and then suddenly, overnight, things shift? That's not luck. That's divine timing. It's God aligning everything behind the scenes and revealing it only when the time is right. Sometimes His provision comes in the form of peace. You should be anxious. You should be afraid. Everyone around you is telling you to panic, but something inside you feels calm. Even if your circumstances are still shaky, your spirit feels steady. That's not random, that's supernatural. That's God saying, I've already taken care of it. You don't need to worry. Then there are the strange moments, a message from someone you haven't spoken to in years. A door opening from a direction you didn't expect, a job you didn't apply for, reaching out to you. A cancellation that looked like rejection, but in time, you realized it saved you from something far worse. That's the kind of funding the world doesn't understand. It's not a paycheck, it's protection, it's favor. Sometimes God's way of helping you is by closing the wrong doors before they even look tempting. Sometimes He answers you not with more, but by removing what you don't need so your hands are free to receive what's truly meant for you. And then there are the quiet moments where you suddenly feel strength in your body again. After weeks of feeling heavy and exhausted, where your heart starts to beat with hope after you thought you'd lost it for good. That moment when you feel like breathing again, that's not just a good day. That's healing. That's restoration. That's God reaching into your life. Not with noise, but with gentleness. And here's something you must understand, Libra. God funds with favor. And favor is not something you earn. It's not a reward for being perfect. It's a gift that flows from divine alignment. Favor puts you in the right place at the right time with the right people. You can't predict it, you can't force it, you can't measure it the way the world measures success. But when favor is on your life, doors open that no human could unlock. Your name is spoken in rooms you haven't even entered. Opportunities are sent your way, not because of who you know, but because of who knows you. That's the beauty of God's funding. It's not just about giving you more, it's about transforming the way you receive. You won't always see it coming. It may arrive wrapped in situations that look uncomfortable at first, but underneath that discomfort is something divine. So don't get discouraged when the help doesn't look how you imagined. Don't doubt the journey just because it isn't loud. God's help doesn't always come with noise. Sometimes it comes with stillness, with timing, with hidden blessings. Because the truth is, God's funding is never late, it's never small, it's never random, it is precise, it is powerful, and it is personal. You were never meant to fund your own purpose. Libra, your soul was never ordinary. From a young age, you felt things deeply. You saw meaning where others saw routine. You noticed silence when others only heard noise. There's something sacred about you. A quiet awareness that you were made for something more. More than just surviving, more than just getting by, more than just doing what everyone else is doing. You carry a calling on your life. You may not have been able to explain it, but you've always known it was there. And with that calling came weight. The weight of dreams too big to explain. The weight of responsibilities that weren't always yours. The weight of expectations, some spoken, some silent. And so, you began trying to do it all on your own. You tried to carry others, even when you could barely carry yourself. You tried to fund the journey with your own energy, your own time, your own strength. You pushed, you gave, you poured out. But slowly, quietly, you started to run dry. Not because you were weak, but because you were never meant to do this alone. You were never supposed to fund your life's mission using only your own hands. You weren't created to hustle for every step of progress. You weren't designed to stretch yourself thin just to survive. Because your purpose isn't small, it's God-sized. And anything that's created by God must be supported by God. You see, when a building is tall, the foundation must go deep. The same is true for your life. The reason your journey feels heavy, the reason you've felt so exhausted lately, is because you've been trying to carry a spiritual assignment with only human tools. But that ends now. Today, you remember this truth. Heaven didn't just give you the dream, it promised to fund it. You were never meant to worry about how it will all work out. You were never meant to panic over every dollar, every detail, every decision. Instead, you were meant to walk in alignment. You were meant to trust. You were meant to rest in the knowledge that if God placed the dream in your heart, He already has a plan to support it. So stop asking yourself, how am I going to afford this? How will I survive this season? How can I make this work? That's not your job. Start asking something deeper. Start asking, who sent me? Because if you made the plan, then yes, it's on you to fund it. But if God sent you, if He's the one who placed this journey in your hands, then guess what? It's His responsibility to provide. And He will. When God gives vision, He gives provision. When He opens the door, He also provides the key. When He calls you to move, He makes sure the road appears. You're not supposed to live in fear. You're not supposed to worry every step of the way. You're not supposed to break under pressure. You're supposed to walk forward, knowing that heaven is your sponsor. And even when you don't see the help yet, it's already being arranged. Right now, even as you listen to this, heaven is organizing the support, aligning the people, preparing the opportunities, and clearing the obstacles. Because you're not alone. You've never been alone. You've simply been learning to let go of control, so you can finally receive what was yours all along. You weren't created to fund your own purpose. You were created to follow a divine path, with divine help, at divine timing, signs that divine funding has begun. Libra, you may not fully see it yet, but something in your life has already shifted. Not in the loud, dramatic way the world expects, but quietly, spiritually, deeply. Something behind the scenes has changed, and it's working in your favor. Even if things still look uncertain on the outside, there are subtle signs showing you that divine support has already begun. Signs that God is no longer preparing to fund your life, He's already started. You just need to pay attention to the clues He's leaving for you. One of the first signs? Doors begin to close without your help. The job you thought would last suddenly ends. The relationship you once begged to hold on to falls apart. The project you gave your heart to no longer fits. It hurts, yes, but it's not rejection, it's redirection. You didn't fail. You were simply released from something that could no longer grow with you. When you stop having to fight to keep things in your life, it's because God is making room for better. Another sign? You're starting to lose interest in chasing things that don't feel right. Maybe before, you used to push hard. You used to force yourself into spaces that drained you. You used to ignore the discomfort just to keep something going. But now, you're tired of forcing. You're letting go of what doesn't feel aligned. You're no longer interested in struggling just to survive. That's not laziness. That's spiritual alignment. Your soul is learning how to rest. It's realizing that the right things don't need to be begged for. They arrive with peace. Then there are the whispers, the messages, the signs you hear over and over again. Maybe you keep hearing the phrase, "It's already taken care of." You hear it in songs, in random conversations, in things people say without even knowing your situation. You hear words like relax, provision, covered, trust. That's not coincidence. That's divine communication. God is sending you messages, not through thunder, but through repetition, synchronicity, and inner knowing. Another sign? Unexpected help. People start reaching out to you for no reason. A stranger offers you something you were too afraid to ask for. You receive an email, a message, an invitation that you didn't chase. And the person says something like, "I don't know why, but I feel led to help you." That's divine sponsorship. That's heaven speaking through others. You may not even fully understand why they're helping, but your spirit knows this is something higher than you. And then there's the shift within you. You no longer feel the same fear. You're still unsure about the future, but the panic is gone. You feel strangely calm, even when the path ahead still looks uncertain. That peace is not from you. It's from God. And it's one of the clearest signs that divine funding has begun. Because when heaven takes over, your spirit stops running and starts trusting. You're no longer trying to control every detail. You're no longer trying to figure everything out in your own strength. You're learning to receive. You're learning to flow. And Libra, that's a powerful place to be. So if you've been seeing these signs, doors closing, peace rising, strangers offering support, confirmations showing up in quiet ways, know this: you didn't imagine it. This shift is real. This change is spiritual. You're not being overlooked. You're not being delayed. You're in the early stages of being spiritually sponsored. You are being supported in ways you cannot yet see. And soon, what's happening behind the scenes will begin to show in your life, in your peace, in your joy, in your results. You're not doing this alone anymore. The divine has stepped in, and the help you've been praying for is already on its way. The reason you had to lose first. Libra, everything you've lost was not a mistake. It was part of the plan. Not the kind of plan the world understands, but a divine plan, one designed just for you. You see, in the spiritual realm, there's a different kind of math. Before God adds to your life, He often removes what doesn't belong. Before He multiplies blessings, He subtracts the things and people that would block them. And that's why you had to lose first. It wasn't about punishment. It wasn't about failure. It was preparation. If you had succeeded too early, you might have believed you made it happen on your own. You might have said, "It was my hard work, it was my connections, it was my timing." But that's not the truth. And God knew. If you gave credit to the wrong source, you would trust in the wrong strength. So He let some doors stay closed. He allowed some people to walk away. He delayed the things you thought you needed. Because He was clearing the path for what's truly yours. If they had stayed, you would have built your future around the wrong foundation. If the money had come too soon, you may have used it to chase something that wasn't meant to last. But now, you're not the same person you used to be. You don't move like before. You don't think the same. You don't chase approval or force outcomes anymore. Now, you are aligned. You're clearer about what matters. You're stronger in spirit, even if life still feels uncertain. You've learned how to wait, how to release, how to trust, and heaven sees that. God has watched your quiet growth. He saw you show up when no one clapped. He saw you give when you had nothing left. He saw the moments when you cried and still kept going. And now He's saying, you're ready. Because what's coming isn't just a blessing, it's a reward for your growth. It's a return on your pain. It's a gift that only a refined version of you could carry. Everything you've been through wasn't for nothing. It was part of your training. And though it felt like loss, you were actually being qualified, not disqualified. Your pain was the price. Your endurance was the offering. Your surrender, that moment when you said, "God, I don't know what else to do, but I trust you anyway." That was the key that unlocked the next chapter of your life. You didn't lose, you were made new. You weren't abandoned, you were repositioned. So now, don't look back with regret. Don't mourn what left. Don't question why it happened that way. Because what you lost was never meant to stay. And what's coming will not only replace what you lost, it will surpass it in ways you can't yet imagine. Your story is not about being broken. It's about being rebuilt, stronger, deeper, and more spiritually anchored. And now, you are walking into a season that you could not have handled before. But today, you're ready. Why this blessing is final and untouchable. Libra, this time it's not like before. This time, what's coming into your life is different. You've seen blessings before. Small wins, short seasons of peace, moments that felt good but didn't last. Maybe in the past, every time something good happened, something bad came right after. You were always watching your back, afraid it would all disappear again. You got used to second-guessing your joy. You got used to wondering, is this real? Will this stay? But this time, it's not temporary. Because what's coming now isn't something you created. It's not something you fought for. It's something that's being given to you from above. You won't have to beg. You won't have to prove yourself. You won't have to fight to keep it. Because this blessing is not built on your effort. It's built on God's promise. You're not receiving this because of luck. You're receiving it because of alignment. Because heaven has looked at your path and said, now is the time. The blessing coming into your life now, whether it shows up as people who finally see your value, or peace that fills your chest after years of heaviness, or opportunities that feel like destiny, it cannot be touched. No one can steal it, no one can block it, no one can delay it. Because this time, it's not man-made, it's God-funded. And when God funds something, He doesn't ask for permission. He doesn't need approval, and He doesn't do things halfway. When heaven signs your name on the blessing, no devil can cross it out. This is not a reward you'll need to return. This is not a moment you'll need to protect with fear. This is not a gift you'll have to work extra hard to keep. It's not a loan. It's an inheritance. It belongs to you. Because God said so. Because your spirit grew into it. Because your journey shaped you for it. You're not just barely surviving anymore. You're not scraping by. You're not holding your breath and hoping something doesn't fall apart. You are stepping into sponsorship. What does that mean? It means you're now walking with divine coverage. It means you're being supported, even when you don't fully understand how. It means people are being sent to bless you, not out of guilt, but out of purpose. It means the doors that are opening for you were designed only for you. And that's why this blessing is final, because it's not attached to chance. It's anchored in something eternal. It's not a feeling that comes and goes. It's not an opportunity that someone else can claim. It's not a favor that depends on others. This blessing is sealed, it's protected, it's yours. So when it comes, and it will come, you won't need to question it. You won't need to run after it. You'll just need to receive it. This is your confirmation, Libra. You're not in the waiting room anymore. You've been called in. Heaven has cleared the path. Your spirit has been prepared. And now, you're stepping into what cannot be undone. Rest, because it's already done. Libra, you've cried enough. Not just once, not just last week, but through months, maybe even years of silent struggle. You cried behind closed doors. You cried in the dark when no one could see you. You held your tears during the day and let them fall at night when the world went quiet. You prayed, you waited, you stayed faithful, even when nothing made sense. You kept showing up, even when the answers didn't. You've been through so many seasons of delay, so many moments where everything felt paused, like life was moving for everyone else, but not for you. You watched people win. You celebrated others while secretly asking God, when will it be my turn? And now, you've reached a turning point. It's not a loud announcement. It's not a flashing light. But your soul knows something is different now. Because you've made it to the edge of your waiting, the edge of your strength, the edge of trying to fix everything alone. And just when it looked like nothing was left, God whispered to your spirit. You were never standing on your own. All this time, He was with you. In every delay, in every disappointment, in every silent night, He was preparing you, not punishing you. And now, He's saying, it's done. You don't have to chase anymore. You don't have to struggle to believe. You don't have to worry about how it will all work out. Because it already has. Even if you can't see it fully yet, the shift has already happened. The blessing has already been released. The doors are already opening. The help is already moving toward you. You've crossed the line between waiting and receiving. So now, rest. Rest your mind. Rest your heart. Rest your soul. Not because you're giving up, but because the work is done. Because the season of panic is over. Because the heavy lifting is no longer yours. From now on, your life is being funded with peace. Peace that quiets your doubts. Peace that makes no sense to others, but feels right to you. Your path is being funded with clarity. You will no longer second-guess your every move. You will feel aligned, certain, and supported. And most of all, your days are now funded with purpose. You're no longer surviving just to make it through. You're stepping into days that carry meaning. Days that feel full, not just busy. Days that remind you why your soul chose this journey. The resources? They're coming. In fact, they've already started arriving. The right people? They're being guided to you. The opportunities? They're lining up behind the scenes, waiting for divine timing to release them. The weight? It's lifting now. You may not even realize how much lighter you're becoming. Because when God says you've already won, He means it. You're not waiting for victory anymore. You're walking in it. So take a deep breath, not because it's the end of the story, but because it's the beginning of the part where everything changes. You are funded, you are supported, you are chosen. And now, Libra, you rest. Because it's already done. A final word for the Libra who's been worrying. Libra, you've carried so much on your heart. You've tried to stay calm, but deep down, you've been scared. You've smiled for others, but inside, you've been overwhelmed. You've kept pushing forward, even when you felt like you were falling behind. All those moments when you sat quietly, wondering if your life would ever change. All those nights when you closed your eyes and whispered, "God, please do something." Heaven heard every word. You may have thought your worry meant you were weak, but it didn't. Your worry wasn't a failure of faith, it was a silent cry for help, a hidden prayer. And now, God is responding. Not with judgment, not with punishment, but with love, with comfort, with provision. He is saying to your soul, from now on I will fund your steps. Where you go, I will go. Where you walk, doors will open, not by force, but by grace. Where you plant your energy, your time, your love, favor will grow. And when you finally rest, when you stop trying to figure it all out, I will still be working. You don't have to hold your breath anymore. You don't have to chase or prove or push, because your steps are now being guided. Your journey is now being supported. Your future is now being sponsored by something greater than anything this world can offer. So take this in fully. Stop worrying, not because life is perfect, but because you are no longer walking it alone. Even before the victory showed up in front of you, even before the blessings became visible, you had already won. Because the moment you chose to keep believing, the moment you kept going, even through the silence, the moment you said, "I still trust you," that was when the breakthrough began. If this message has spoken to your soul, if you feel even the smallest sense of peace rising inside you, then type these simple words in the comments right now. God is funding my life now. Let it be written, let it be declared. Let the universe and the heavens witness your faith. And if your heart feels ready to step fully into this next chapter, one that's built on faith, not fear, one that's filled with purpose, not pressure, then tap the subscribe button, because this journey isn't over. There is more light coming your way. There are more confirmations ahead. There is more peace to walk in, more love to feel, more alignment to live in. You are not forgotten. You are not being left behind. You are not invisible. You are chosen. You are covered. And most of all, you are funded. Take a deep breath, Libra, because this is not the end of the road. It's the beginning of a life where you finally feel free. And from this moment forward, you'll no longer ask, "How will I make it?" You'll simply say, "God is carrying me," and He is.